Hey, how you doing, everyone? Welcome back to Big Frog's 4x4. This is part 2 of the Wherli L5P Duramax downpipe install. The other one I talked about removing the stock pipe. Now I'm going to talk about installing a Wherli pipe and any issues I came with and that kind of. All right, one of the first things I did while that clamp right down there was off, I took that nut all the way off outside of the vehicle and spread that open more, and then put the nut just loosely on, right on the end of the thread, and then hung it on the back here before I installed that pipe. So it just kind of was hanging there. This pipe, the new Wherli pipe, it gets installed the same way as the old one came out, but it's tighter because it doesn't have any crush and tapered areas on it. It's straight through. So the sensor that screws in back there cannot be in the pipe before you install it. It just does not fit. So what I had to do was feed the pipe up in and then turn it a little bit, rotate it, and just put the sensor in and tighten the sensor down in there, and then position the pipe into the clamp and then snug the clamp up. You don't want it completely tight, just snug it up to where it's just holding the pipe in place. Then from down here, you want to loosely install all the other brackets. The bracket that bolts in, so I can point to it, that bracket right there. You want to loosely install those bolts. Here's the new bolts I installed. I got 2 stainless bolts and nuts. Hopefully they don't rust as quickly. They still probably will with the heat from the exhaust, but I got 2 stainless nuts and bolts, installed those, and installed the factory nuts once I ran a, that's a 10 by 1.5 tap through the threads on that and cleaned all the rust out. Then you can screw them up one by hand. Everything loose at this point. The wrapping that came with the pipe, they have their band all the way up there, and the bottom wrap, as I was turning it to push it up in, started coming unraveling. So I had 2 old exhaust clamp or hose clamps and put them on just snug. They're not real tight. I just enough to keep that wrap, just tight enough to keep that wrap from falling off. I installed them on there just to keep that bottom wrap on. And then, let's see, all the way up top up there. See if I can get the point. That bracket up there, again, installed completely loose. The holes in those are absolutely huge. They're huge. So if you were to tighten them down, nothing else might not line up. So everything in loose. Get these 2 bolts in loose, those 2 bolts in loose. And that way, I'm about to drop my camera. If they're installed loose, that way everything can be lined up. Your exhaust pipe, since you had it ratchet strapped down, you're going to have to probably bring that forward and reposition that and back and forth and everything to get this bell flange, everything all to line up. Once you have it really close, and then you work your way around all 4 of those bolts. If you have another person help you, they can be down underneath and working on the 2 back ones while you work on the front ones. So you're not going underneath and then back, underneath and then back. But work them evenly all the way around until this is drawn up. Let's see. Then once you have that down here all tightened up, then you can go up, tighten your upper clamp. Remember, that was just in there loose. So you want to finish torquing that down. And then you can tighten up this bracket back here. And then I tightened that bracket right up there. Now it's basically to the point where you want to get your heat shields back in. I'm not going to install this one until after I fire the truck up, just to make sure there's no leak down here. But I have to install the upper one so I can get the upper sensor in. That sensor is already tightened down. I just got to get the other 2 installed and the heat shields on top of the turbo installed. And basically they're the same way you took them out. You put the sensor, the heat shields in, bolt them down, and then obviously install your sensors. Those sensors do not need to be extremely tight. Just snug them up. Basically just screw them in until they're a little bit tight and there's a little bump, and that's about it. After you have it all reassembled, you want to fire it up and check for any leaks around the gasket there. Before it gets hot, the first thing you want to do is check the leaks up at the top of by the turbo and back by that clamp and everything, and make sure everything's good there. Then come down here and make sure there's no leaks here. You have to turn the HVAC off, turn the fan off, because the air will blow out the vent. I don't know if you can see it here. Back there behind here is a black hose hanging down for your drain and stuff. So you want to make sure you maybe plug that, or make sure you turn off the air so you don't have any air blowing from that. Then come down here and just make sure there's no leaks anywhere. Then go through and just double check all your work and make sure that everything is tight, everything is secured, all your sensors, everything are plugged in. Actually, you should check your sensors and everything before you fire it up, because otherwise you'll check engine light come on. But make sure everything is complete before you do your final assembly. Once you have no leaks, then you can come down here and put your heat shield back on, and then put your inner fender and tire back on. Thanks for watching Big Frog's 4x4. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you like this video and you think it could help someone else, and the first video as well, don't forget to send that out to anyone that's working on one of these. Share my channel if you wouldn't mind. I could really help. I release videos whenever possible. I work long days, long hours, and plus I have my own stuff, with the family to do, so I try to get these up as much as possible, but as you can probably tell, it's been a lot going on in the past year. Pretty much since my father passed away 2 years ago, it's just been so busy trying to get things done. And then I got to also help with my mom and that kind of stuff as well with his passing and getting things done there, working on her car, and it's been a lot. So I thank you for your support. I thank you for everyone who's stuck around through all this. Again, thanks for watching Big Frog's 4x4, and God bless.